Okay, we're going to do an update on the progress of the winter rebuild of the Harley-Davidson. I've done nothing to this is just one of its cylinder heads. There you go. There's nothing wrong with that, it just needs cleaning up and the valves lapping in and possibly new guides, who knows. Well, I haven't put a video up recently because there's been things happening in my life which have been completely wonderful. Nothing to do with any of this, so it's kind of taken up all my... I haven't really thought to do a video. And most of the stuff on the bike has been pretty tedious, but we're starting to see a bit of improvement. Right, this is, as you can see, I started wiring today, but this is the same Harley. There's the number plate as proof. I'm really pleased with how it's turning out, the looks of it. Most obvious thing, petrol tank, I've replaced that. That's a brand new stainless one. That's not getting painted, that's going to stay like it is. The frame, I just scraped all the dirt, oil and loose paint off, and then I undercoated it with a black primer filler and then sprayed it with gloss. This is all out of a rattle can. Sprayed it with gloss, what do they call it, enamel. The cycle parts, they're not matte black, they're satin black. Which is somewhere between the gloss and matte. So that's the rear mudguard and the oil tank and the front mudguard. They are satin black. Now the obviously this is the other side of the oil tank here and the battery cage. The battery is black. I do have the side panel, but it needs dents knocking out of it, and also I need to weld the tab back on the bottom so it can be bolted on properly. And I don't have a welder yet, so... and it doesn't really need it, so that's fine for the time being, I don't care. Most of what's been going on, there's been a lot around the front end actually. The gaiters, they're new. All of this has been replaced. The original Harley-Davidson Sportster arrangement here, which was all one piece, the clutch cable had got really rattly. I mean, that rattles a little bit. This was what, blah, 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 and it started to chew up the clutch cable. Also, this, it didn't have a, what didn't it have? Oh, it didn't have an indicator switch. And it had two buttons, one for starter, one for horn. My starter's hidden, so I only need the one for horn. So that was good, that was about 15 quid. This is a copy of a CB500 Honda one, which I'm hoping will do the job because it's a much bigger cable, and I had to make this thing here wider, and I'm going to have to do something weird to its nipple because its nipples are the wrong shape. Harleys have long nipples, whereas Hondas have little fat rosebud ones, so that's interesting, isn't it? The back brake, it's not on, that's just the mounting, which is cleaned up quite nicely. I used a wire brush on the end of a drill for all of the cleaning up stuff. Like this, this here was completely rusted and horrible, and after leaving it in a bath of petrol for a couple of days, it was still rusty. So it's all cleaned up really nicely. One of the big things electrically is indicators. It's now got indicators. These are incredibly cheap and nasty, but they do work. They were 10 quid for 4 of them because they are an experiment. And this is a Suzuki GS1000 front end, and I had to make my own brackets for these. This is angle iron, just chopped up with a... hang on. Oh yeah, just chopped up with a cutting wheel on a grinder. That's how I did, and then obviously finished off with a grinder. They'll get painted, but at the moment, they're fine as they are. Everything's just in the tacking it together situation at the moment. Now, as far as the engine goes, there's been no progress. I dismantled it completely. There it is, there's the bottom end. As you can see, there's a knackered thing there. There's a guy over on the west coast that is apparently an absolute wizard with these, and I want to send it to him, but we've got quite a lockdown at the moment. It's a 300-mile round trip. Basically, if I took that trip, I would get pulled about 3 miles from his door, get sent back, get fined, wasted the whole day and all that petrol, and still have a knackered bottom end. So I'm leaving that till, well, not till last, but I'm leaving it for a while. So the wiring has begun. And this is everything I've done in the last hour, just to show you the absolute start of it. What we're looking at here is the circuit breakers. They're self-resetting mechanical fuses, and they're pretty much the nerve centre of where everything goes. At the moment I've got 3 fat wires, and those 3 go to the ignition switch on these Sportsters, and only that. There shouldn't be anything else coming off the ignition switch, and they should all be fat ones, and they're all connected. You've got 3 of these are 15 amp. I'm going to pick up my notes because I don't actually know this. I'm just trying to work it out. 3 of these are 15 amp, and one of them is 30 amp, and that's the main one, and that's that one there. So that's got the thick red wire coming off it, off the main one, and that will take power to the battery, I think, but I haven't actually got that far so far. Other ones we've got this, that one, sorry, can't see a damn thing here. The bottom one is the circuit breaker for the lights. That's got a thin blue wire going off at the moment. That goes all the way to the handlebars, and that's going to connect to something, I forget what. This one I'm pretty sure is accessories. Again, that thin orange one's going all the way to the handlebars. This one at the top, and you've got that copper bar joining accessories in this one. This is the ignition contact breaker. So that fat white wire, that's one of the ones going off to here. The fat green wire to the ignition switch is coming off of there, which is the lights one. Oh yeah, because the ignition switch is also the lights on and off. That does make sense. So, and that blue one goes off to the handlebars and into the light switch, and this orange one goes off to the handlebars and it takes power. That seems to take power. It takes it to the front brake light and also to the on-off lights, dip and everything like that. And I've got my to-do list here, and it's put the speedo cable back on, that's easy enough. Dismantle the heads, clean them and lap the valves. Rebuild the oil pump, modify the clutch cable, I mentioned its nipples, replace the bushes in the generator. I've stripped the starter housing. I've just basically got to paint the housing and reassemble the starter, the solenoid and the starter clutch as one unit. Obviously I've got to put the engine back together when it comes back from Cheshire. That should take a few days. Oh yeah, and yeah, the wiring. I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel here, but it's something I should show you as far as modifications go. It's still got the old front mudguard on, but it's been painted. It was purple. That's a fiberglass one, but it's got a mud flap right at the bottom, which goes right to the bottom, because at the front of the frame here, in front of the engine, is the generator that provides all the power to the battery, and also the regulator, which enables it to provide usable power to the battery, and both of them get covered in crap, absolutely lathered in it, and I'm kind of hoping that this will make a difference. I was going to get a checkered flag one, like the scooter guys, but I thought, no, because it's not fast, is it? So, but yeah, that's it.